We have created a series of videos to discuss Texas' long range plan for technology and how you can create a custom plan for your district. First, let's talk about who these videos are for and how to use them. Who is this for? This is designed to guide every district to create their own long range plan for technology. This can also be used to guide individual campuses and classroom teachers. Let's talk about what you will need to best utilize these videos. First, your team. Who in your district is a vital part of the technology conversation? How can you involve the necessary parties and decision makers? Second, bring your creativity. We all face new and evolving challenges daily as we do our best to serve our students. Our technological resources are important and exciting tools that create opportunities for us to think outside the box as we work together to plan for technology and education. Third, download the workbook associated with this module. We will be reflecting on what you're already doing, what you want to begin, and what your goals are. We will be talking about big ideas in these interactive videos. The workbook is a vital part of the process. See the link below to download your workbook now. What are some of the things you'll see in these videos? As we go, you'll see an orange box like this pop up periodically. These definitions will help expand on what we are discussing. You will also see this white folder. This is to remind you to check out the resources that help expand the topic being discussed. These videos are meant to be interactive. We will provide opportunities to pause the video throughout to reflect or make notes in your workbook. So go ahead, pause this video now to gather your supplies and print the workbook. Download using the link on your screen. What is the LRPT and how is it structured? The Long Range Plan for Technology, the LRPT, is an outline of strategic goals for technology in Texas and is intended to be used as a visionary guide to inform and influence educators as you make personalized decisions for your learners. The LRPT is structured into 6 strategic goals. Each strategic goal has 3 focus areas defined within it to help guide strategy creation. Each focus area is further broken down to include the biggest challenge, suggested actions, and short and long-term outcomes. The larger LRPT structure informs how to use these videos and how their resources are structured. There is one video for each of the 18 focus areas. This will allow you to watch the videos in order of what's most pertinent for your district. Each video will introduce the strategic goal and one focus area within it, digging into the challenge, each suggested action, and the short and long-term outcomes. Now, let's look at the LRPT structure as a whole. Remember, the LRPT is first broken down into 6 strategic goals, incorporating statewide trends in technology. Goal number 1, personalized, flexible, empowered learning. Goal number 2, equitable access. Goal number 3, digital citizenship. Goal number 4, safety and security. Goal number 5, collaborative leadership. Goal number 6, reliable infrastructure. As you think about how these goals relate to your district, remember that every school district is unique, so every conversation will be unique. While many share a great deal of challenges, like budget, competing priorities, and security threats, each technology plan should be tailored to individual needs, opportunities, and constraints you have. It's because of this uniqueness that the larger goals are further broken down into 18 individual focus areas. Each focus area reviews challenges, suggested actions, and short-term and long-term outcomes. We will be expanding on this framework during this video, guiding you to build a plan that serves you best. Because it's most likely that you will go through these videos and topics as needed instead of the order of the document, we have built a reference guide to help you easily find where you are in the document, what's next, and what focus area you are in. LRPT will be the first part of the reference description. Next, you will see the strategic goal listed as G, followed by the goal number 1 through 6. Then, the focus area will be highlighted as F, followed by the focus number within the strategic goal, 1 through 3. Lastly, the current section of the focus area will be listed. This could be either the challenge, indicated with a C, one of the actions, indicated with an A and the number, or the short-term or long-term outcome, indicated with either STO for short-term outcome or LTO for long-term outcome. Look for the reference diagram and reference notation in the corner of the slides throughout the video. The third of 6 strategic goals for Texas Long-Range Plan for Technology is digital citizenship. What is digital citizenship? In general, it is a student's awareness of their own ability to make effective choices and the impact that that has on the world around them, for themselves, and in reaching their full potential. Educators and parents share responsibility in teaching the components of digital citizenship, including respect, education, and safety in a digital world. Remember to pause this video to print your workbook if you haven't already. Now that we have introduced the strategic goal, let's review the focus areas. There are 3 focus areas to help guide the realization of this goal. 1. Program development. 2. Content development. And 3. Rights and responsibilities. Let's zoom in to focus area number 2. This focus area is content development. In the context of digital citizenship, how would we define content development? Content development is building content that guides students to proficient understanding and practice of digital citizenship, the norms of appropriate, responsible behavior online. Because the action of having appropriate and responsible behavior can have variances as technology and society evolves, it is important that the content developed to teach these goals is clear and well understood in your district. As we discuss content development in this video, remember the 3 main themes when building digital literacy: respect, educate, protect. For more ideas on these concepts, check out the resources. Each district will achieve these goals in a different manner as you make decisions aligned with your unique district. That's why each focus area is broken down into the main challenge, action steps to be taken, and short and long-term outcomes to watch for. First, let's talk about the challenge of content development for digital literacy. Remember to download the workbook as a tool to collect your notes and reflections. Because students are eager to dive into technology and social media without always understanding how their actions in the digital world can impact them, one challenge we experience in content development is helping students to understand and manage their digital footprint. How are you encouraging the understanding of a digital footprint in your district? Before we think about the actions you can take, let's reflect on your goals. First, identify how we describe a digital footprint, also known as digital reputation. Also, remember that digital footprints can be classified as either passive or active. This is an important trait to include when developing content for instruction in this area. We know that a digital footprint includes essentially all of our online activity: leaving a review, sending emails, visiting websites, and posting on social media. So our goal is to create deep understanding of how far a student's digital footprint can reach and how long it can last. Use the resources below to better understand this challenge. Pause the video here to reflect in your workbook on what a digital footprint includes for your student population and what you are already doing to promote understanding. We know the challenge. Now, let's think about our first action. Action number 1 is to understand and utilize existing training resources. When looking for training to utilize with students, it is valuable to consider that even though one main point is to help students learn to protect their digital footprint, it is also important to teach them how to curate it. Training with focuses that include responsibility and impact, as well as developing the use of their creativity and authenticity, is the most holistic approach to a digital footprint. While responsibility and impact are most commonly found at the center of digital footprint training, rightly so, creativity and authenticity can be found built in as well. Look for these types of content components for students. Be diverse. Being active on many different social media platforms can spread your exposure. Be creative. Social media allows you to showcase your creativity. Be articulate. The way you communicate on social media will establish your online reputation. Pause the video here to note on other values your district needs to consider, in addition to responsibility, impact, creativity, and authenticity when looking for existing trainings to utilize. What existing trainings are you already using that reflect on these attributes? How is the training presented to students? In what ways are they able to engage? This could include online training, in-person training, quizzes, assessments, or gamified activities. Check out the resource information on additional ideas for utilizing existing training. Pause the video here to note the most effective ways you can engage with learners with this training. How are you already engaging with them? Let's move on to action number 2. You're probably already doing this action in some way, but how are you consistently incorporating exploration of digital citizenship in a safe environment for your learners? This is an opportunity to allow students to try, fail, and try again in a controlled environment like class assignments, lessons, homework, or projects. Pause the video here to reflect on how you are already incorporating digital citizenship into curriculum. There are many opportunities to incorporate digital citizenship conversations into lessons, regardless of the student's age. It could be as simple as building in conversations around critical thinking and how to use the THINK acronym when making decisions about engaging in the digital world. Use the resources below to continue to explore ideas for bringing these conversations into your classrooms. Pause to use the workbook to reflect on creative ways you can bring in more conversations like this into your district. Do your current lessons hold space for expanding digital citizenship conversations? Now, let's move on to action number 3. Action number 3 in the goal of content development for digital citizenship is to start early and be consistent. How are you introducing the concepts of digital citizenship early and consistently? We've already discussed the importance of utilizing existing training and incorporating larger digital citizenship conversations into curriculum. The most effective way to start early and remain consistent with learners in your district is to clearly understand the goal of having these conversations, to engage with technology responsibly. But first, why is technology and digital citizenship important? These four guiding principles could help enable consistency in conversations and curriculum. Technology is a tool for learning. Technology is used to increase access to learning opportunities. Technology is used to strengthen relationships among parents, families, educators, and students. Technology is more effective for learning when adults and peers interact with students. Use the resources below for expanded thinking on this topic. Pause the video here to reflect in your workbook on how your actions are allowing for early and consistent introduction of this topic. The last action for this focus area is action number 4. Action number 4 is to model the behavior desired from the learners. How are staff, teachers, and parents being encouraged and supported to lead by example in showcasing responsible digital practices? In spaces where digital citizenship is taught effectively, the adults have two things in common. They model ethical technology use for their students or children on a daily basis, and they naturally incorporate conversations about it wherever they're able to. Pause the video here to note in your workbook how you are encouraging and supporting parents, educators, and staff to model responsible digital practices in your district. We know that digital citizenship is a learned and ever-evolving skill. How are you providing learning for educators and/or parents as well as students? Ideas could include webinars on topics that are specific to your community, opening the school for digital citizenship conversations on campus, or providing two-generation opportunities to engage the families and caregivers of students. Check out the resources below for more information on how to teach and model this behavior. Pause the video here to reflect on how you are modeling the behavior. Now that we understand the challenge and have some actionable ideas, let's look at outcomes. The short-term outcome of focusing on content development for digital citizenship is positive school culture that supports safe and responsible technology use. Let's zoom in to focus area number 3 for the goal of digital citizenship. Focus area number 3 is bringing clarity to rights and responsibilities for digital citizenship. For the purpose of this video, what are we referring to when we talk about rights and responsibilities? Broadly speaking, these rights and responsibilities include the way we are held accountable for the use of our digital privileges. Understanding of these dynamic rights and responsibilities allows space to prepare students to communicate and collaborate online in a safe, responsible manner. Because of the nature of the digital environment, students are often lacking in the ability to understand that their digital actions have consequences as well. It is our job as educators to guide them in understanding this concept. This awareness also helps students understand there are consequences if these rights are abused. For more information on digital rights and responsibilities, check out the resources. Each district will present these in a different manner as you make decisions aligned with your unique district. That's why each focus area is broken down into the main challenge, action steps to be taken, and short and long-term outcomes to watch for. First, let's talk about the challenge of teaching these types of rights and responsibilities. Remember to download the workbook as a tool to collect your notes and reflections. Because digital rights and responsibilities are inherently dynamic and the conversation is not solely on the education center's shoulders to have, the challenge lies in leading the conversation in partnership with the community. Let's reflect on what you're already doing in your district. First, how are you seeking to understand your student population? Do you see more students with limited guidance from parents or mixed messages about what is acceptable use of technology? Pause the video here to write your reflections down in your workbook. While it is the responsibility of the schools to lead the conversation, it is not solely your responsibility. How are you partnering with the community? How are you empowering parents to have this conversation at home? What tools are you making accessible for use in the community? Use the resources below to support you as you think about these questions. Pause the video here and reflect in your workbook. We know the challenge. Now, let's think about our first action. Action number 1 is ensuring age-appropriate guidelines in your digital citizenship program. How is your district ensuring age-appropriate guidelines? Oftentimes, districts already have outlines and definitions for respect in place as a part of their handbooks or expectations. How is respect defined in actions in your district? Use these same ideas in putting together digital guidelines as well. The age-appropriate guidelines should include areas that address digital etiquette, digital access, and digital law. Knowing that these areas are vital, how does your digital citizenship program address respect in regards to digital etiquette, digital access, and digital law? Check out the resources for more information on age-appropriate guidelines. Pause the video here and use your workbook to note how you define respect and how you are ensuring age-appropriate digital guidelines in your district. Let's move on to action number 2. You're probably already doing this action in some way, but are you creating these types of education and connection opportunities intentionally through your digital citizenship program? How are you already creating opportunities for education and connection? How can these opportunities be used for conversations around your digital citizenship program? This type of education and connection needs to hold space for digital literacy, use of technology, digital communication, exchange of info, digital commerce, buying and selling goods. How does your digital citizenship program address digital literacy, digital communication, and digital commerce? Use the resources below to help understand how to include these areas in your connection strategies. Pause the video here to reflect on your education and connection opportunities and how you can enhance them with these conversations. Now, let's move on to action number 3. Action number 3 is ensuring your digital citizenship guidelines include structure to protect students and staff. What guidelines do you already have in place for digital rights, digital security, and health and wellness? The age-appropriate guidelines should include areas that address digital rights, digital security, and digital health and wellness. What guidelines do you already have in place that address these vital needs for your school community? How will you continue to enhance these guidelines as students and technology grow and evolve? It's imperative to have review processes in place to allow for protection guidelines to change as needed in order to keep them current and highly effective. Use the resources below to learn more about how to build and use these guidelines. Pause the video here and use your workbook to reflect on what guidelines are already in place, how you can enhance them, and how you will keep them current. Now that we understand the challenge and have some actionable ideas, let's look at outcomes. The short-term outcome of focusing on rights and responsibilities for digital citizenship is engaged users operating safely, responsibly, and respectfully online. This type of learning environment allows students and staff to build understanding of their digital rights and responsibilities in a safe space. Thinking back over the guidelines we have discussed, how would you measure safe, responsible, and respectful use of the digital environment? Use the resources below to help guide how you create this environment in perpetuity. Pause here to reflect on how you will create and measure responsible users. Lastly, let's review the long-term outcome. The long-term outcome of this goal is digitally responsible society fully participating in the online world in which we live. Thinking about your district's methodologies and guidelines, how would you describe a digitally responsible society as it would present itself in your schools? Refer to the resources below for more on what this society could look like. Pause the video here to use your workbook to describe what this society would look like. We've covered everything for this focus area. Now what? Continue to reflect on what you are doing and what you have done in support of this focus area. What obstacles and successes came to mind during this video? Who else should be included in this conversation? Find your team. Who is needed to move this focus area forward? Use your workbook and the provided resources as a starting point for a larger conversation around this goal. Start with action 1 and work with your team through each action step to make this a sustainable and customized plan for your district. The ideas you're writing in your workbook will be the material you use to build your district's LRPT. How will you use this reflection process to inform your plan? Lastly, write a short summary statement for this focus area. How would you summarize what you've done and what you need to do for this focus area based on your work so far? Pause the video here to write down your summary statement in your workbook. Thank you for your work to transform Texas education through technology.